Good afternoon to all my friends here in this stitching community. I am Dr. Janelle Meredith, and this is my Floss Tube, Vintage Threads and Samplers. And I'm really excited to be here today with you. It's been quite a few months since my last video. We've been busy. There's just always a lot going on in this household. Dog surgeries, birthdays, holidays. Kevin got busy landscaping the backyard. It's just beautiful. We love it. He put the sprinkler system in, the topsoil, the grass. Our older daughter and I, Nicole and I, got to go down to the tree farm, and we picked out trees and bushes and floral stuff, flowers, and we love it. It turned out beautiful. And now Kevin has a garden. Of course he does. He has a garden on one side of the house with corn and melons, and then on the other side of the house he has two big, I don't know what you call them, areas with tomatoes, bell green peppers, and herbs. Oh, and strawberries. Oh, they're so precious, these little red strawberries. Anyway, everything he's growing tastes so good. It's just amazing. We're loving it, and he'll probably expand it next year. So anyway, good job, Farmer Meredith. So we've been busy with that, and then I've been designing. I've been took weeks off for decorating, and now finished some of my designs, got them framed. You know, that always takes time. So I wanted to do this video today to showcase my 3 new designs. I've got 3 finished designs kitted, and I'm stitching one of them. And then I had these other ideas pop in my head. So actually I have 6. 3 of them are in the Familia series, and then the other 3 are more Sunday stitches, scripture samplers. So pretty excited about that. I'm filming in my kitchen today. I thought this would be kind of fun. Kevin's agreed to paint my office, my craft room. So I'm busy looking at paint colors, and then I'll redo the sampler wall because it's kind of out of control. It's got too much. And now that I've got all these new framed projects, I kind of want to redo the wall. So that'll be fun, and I probably won't be able to do a video for another few months, but that's okay. It'll all come together. And then I made us some scones right there behind us. So grab a cup of coffee, tea, maybe some lemonade. It's a hot summer day. And sit back and relax, and I'll go through my stuff. So I'm going to do the 3 new designs, and then I thought I would do 2023 and 2024 designs because I'm new at this, and I've learned a lot in the last few months and last year. And I've also done some reframing. And I will tell you, in reframing, I was listening to Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, and that's her name. I love Carol. I watch her all the time. Anyway, she was framing a sampler, and she had a little blue frame. And she said, well, it's forever frame. I thought, oh my gosh, Carol, thank you. That's what I needed to hear. Not the forever frame. Because I've shared in the past, I go to thrift shops. I try to find unique and fun frames that are like $1, right? And I bring them home, and I'm trying to, I don't know, squeeze my sampler and make it work. And I've actually done a few videos where it didn't work, and I had to, eat humble pie and say that wasn't good and redo it. So when Carol said, it's in this frame for now, but not its forever frame, I just thought, oh, I can do that. So I gathered up all my 2023 and a couple of the 2024s, not every one of them, went up to Michael's and did reframing. So let's get started. So the first one is this bed and breakfast sign. I have a couple funny stories. So I have a good friend in Fort Collins that has an Airbnb bed and breakfast, and she's very successful. She's done an amazing job. And when people are successful and make it fun, you just think you can do it, like it's easy. Oh, let's do that. And a couple years ago, when we were in the other house, we had a fully finished basement, extra bedrooms. And my sister and her friends, I call them her church ladies, and we all knew them because we had lived in San Antonio, and I would go up to Austin and hang out with my sister and her friends. We did a lot of fun stuff. So they wanted to come and see our new home. That was our last home. And see Colorado and go up to Denver. We went up to Estes Park. So everyone had a bed. There's plenty of bathrooms. Everyone was spread out. I cooked and baked and froze things and had, things ready. And we had a great time. So they're leaving, and they bring all the linens, bedding, the towels, right, the trash, and they line everything up in front of the laundry room, which is what I asked them to do. I mean, I was working full time, and I thought, when you guys leave for the airport, just put everything there. It'll be fine, and I'll get it all later. But I think what happened is when I saw it all, I thought, I can't do this every weekend. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. And I know Karen has a system for turnover, so I just thought, well, that was a fun idea, but it's going out the window. We're not doing an Airbnb. So, and it wasn't that my sister made me throw away the idea. It was more about there's a lot more to all of this than just opening your home. And we love opening up our home to friends and family, but it was, it's not going to be an Airbnb. So in designing this, I thought, well, I want a little bed and breakfast sign for the kitchen. So it started out small, which is typically how I do things. I start out with this idea, I throw it in my MaxStitch program, it's a draft, and then I come back to it later, and do I add an alphabet? What are the motifs? How big is it? And so this is where I started. I'm going to show you this picture. Whoops. I started with a red bed and breakfast, small, something cute to put on the counter. And I loved it, but it didn't wow me, right? I was like, got this whole French country decorating going on. Maybe I need to do more. So I'm making my motif, my French country motif, and you can see right here on the floor I have this architectural, that's only like a third of the size, it's big, scrolly architectural piece. Put it in every house, we find a place for it. I have a fleur-de-lis copper wall grate, it's about this big, and it's in another room. I'll insert a picture, and it's very pretty. I mean, Kevin helped me clean it a couple months ago because it was kind of getting that green, heavy, grimy stuff on it. So that's my inspiration. I have a lot of Paris books. We've been to Paris. And so I thought, well, I want this to have a French country feel to it. So I'm making my scroll design, and I had it done. And I said to our younger daughter, I said, Erica, what do you think about my scroll design, my motif? And she said, Mom, that looks like an upside down mustache. That's what she said to me. Like a knife in your heart, right? Like, what? Upside down mustache? You are crazy. That's a scroll design. And so then I'm scolding her. Did I not raise you to honor your mother and father? Did I not teach you to respect your elders? And she said, yeah, but you told me to be truthful, to tell the truth and to be honest. And really, I'm trying to save you from yourself. We had so much fun laughing about that. So back to the drawing board. So this is it. I finished my scrolly design and my little fleur-de-lis and then just some more little scrolly things there. I decided to personalize it with our last name here, Denver, Colorado. Now, we don't live in Denver proper. We live on the outskirts, but I wanted to put Denver, Colorado. And then I kind of went back and forth. I think I've seen things out there that say you make both, you do both. And so I thought, you make both. You make the bed, you make the breakfast. So lots of fun. In your PDF, you will have both the red design and this blue design. And I use Picture This Plus 28 count alchemy, and then Roxy Floss Salty Place. And I think in my last video I was trying to reference that I was making a decision about doing this and mentioned Salty Place, the floss, that I was in love with it. I love that blue. So this is it. There we go, turn it around. I think it turned out perfect. I just love it. Love it. This framing was done at Michael's. I originally put it, not the forever frame. This is the forever frame. I had it in a blue thin frame and set it here in the counter. It just wasn't perfect. And so I'm glad I went up to Michael's and found this one. It's perfect. Love it. Kevin got a big kick out of it. I'm going to set it over here. And so it sits in the foyer on this long blue table with a lot of other French country things, and I'll insert a picture here. That's what I was missing, my glasses. Okay, now the next one I did, get everything ready here. we had the great privilege of being able to help my daughter's friends with their chicken farm. So they were going to Norway for a month, and they needed friends and family to do a rotation of coming up to their farmstead, their place up in Loveland. They live on a hillside. They have a big, beautiful home. They have this huge garden. And then down from the home, lower on the side of the hill, is their chicken coop and their chickens. They all have names. They're just precious. It's adorable. So we got to go out there and get trained on how to feed them, where to collect the fresh eggs, and where we were in that rotation. They sent us a whole list of instructions. So we were pretty excited. Kevin and I and Erica went, and we're like in love with these chickens. And for a moment, I'm like, could we have a chicken farm here? Like, could we just get some chickens out back? I think the HOA would let us. So I decided to do a sampler to, I guess, in memory of that fun time that we got to be a part of all of that. So I did a sampler for them, Sunflower Ridge, and that is the name of their chicken farm. And I put the chickens and the sunflowers. They love sunflowers. Now, I love sunflowers because I'm from the state of Kansas, and that's our state flower. I think we have a picture here that we can insert of their framed sampler. They're very excited. They love it. They just were like, oh my gosh, he did this for us. Well, then I got busy with our sampler. I'm going to show a picture first. So here it is. Biggest old chicken coop. Big in heart, little in size. The motifs for the chickens came out of my Max Stitch program. And then I had to design this little coop. Now it's based on their chicken coop because it's kind of what it looks like. And I'm telling you, I act like I'm Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper. I'm in there, you know. First I had it way too big, like as big as this frame. And I'm like, okay, stop it, knock it off. Stop being crazy. So I had to bring it down, make it realistic, make it fit, right, with the chickens and the sunflowers. And, oh man, it took me some time, but it was a lot of fun. In your PDF, you will have the DMC Floss colorway, which is how theirs was done. And I loved it. I love the DMC. But I do have a lot of channel art threads, Weeks Dye Works. And so I decided to do mine with Fancy Floss. So again, in your PDF, this is available, Meredith Samplers in my Etsy shop. You'll have both colorways. And then, of course, as you can see, I did mine on Vintage Country Mocha. Here's the Fancy Floss with a little bit of Roxy, Leo and Roxy thrown in. And I tell you what that is in the PDF. And then, of course, all the DMC. So, fun. I am so happy with the way this turned out. We love it. It sits on the wall. There's a wall around the corner here in the kitchen to the pantry. And I have all my samplers and a couple of antique things, and then Peaches Kevin painted for me. So it's kind of a mixture. It's a gallery wall, I guess, instead of just a sampler wall. So this sits over there. And then this frame I had, and I chalk painted it and tried to distress it a little to give it this look. And really happy with how this turned out. It's just a lot of fun. And then my next design, I was trying to get this done during Nurses Week or Nurses Month, and I couldn't. We just had too much going on. I couldn't stitch fast enough to get it done. So I retired a year ago from nursing, and I've shared before my journey, and I had a wonderful career. I just loved everything I did in my nursing career, every role that I was able to be a part of. And all my colleagues, my mentors, my teachers, my professors, I mean, I just feel so blessed. So I'm packing up all my diplomas. I'm going through things, kind of doing that reminiscing thing that we do, crying. And I came across this poem. Now, I had this as a PDF framed and hanging in my office. And I'm looking at it, and I thought, maybe I should do a cross-stitch design with that. So in the Etsy shop, it's Why Nursing, which is the title here, a nurse poem. So this is changed here, but you'll still see it. You'll find it. And two of my best friends retired also this past year from nursing. So I sent this PDF to them in the mail. And my friend Karen, they're both named Karen, said, you know, I haven't stitched since 1991. So I thought, well, that'll inspire you. And my other friend Karen, she's never been a cross stitcher, and so she sent laughing emojis. What do? I don't know. I've never stitched before. So I'm going to try to help her figure out how we can get her to a class. I think Colorado Cross Stitch, she has a shop in Loveland, and maybe I'll reach out to her and she can help my friend Karen. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I wanted them to have this. Dear friends, we've both had, all three of us have started together in Fort Collins at our local hospital. Everyone had amazing careers. We all just loved being nurses. And so I'll read it. I know I won't cry because I kind of read it 10 times, so I won't cry. Okay, here we go. Why nursing? A nurse is the one who opens the eyes of a newborn and gently closes the eyes of a dying man. It is indeed a privilege to be the first and the last, to witness the beginning and the end of life. Author unknown. And I tried to do a little bit of research to see if I could find this poem somewhere in a book out there on the internet, because I just think whoever wrote this, what a blessing. I love it. See? So it's stitched on 32 count linen, white chocolate. And I used, in your PDF, it'll have DMC, and I'll tell you the substitution for my, there we go, turn it around, maybe, for my Roxy. Okay, Floss. And here we go. I just think it turned out just precious. I love it. There we go, don't get a glare. I did some ornamentation on the vine with the flowers, trying to do ornamentation on all my samplers that I do now. I went back and thought I could just add a little bit more to make it special, I guess is what I was trying to do. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. And now I'm gonna jump into 2023 and what I did. Now when I started, I was all over the place, right? Like, what's my floss tube name? How do you design a sampler? What do I want it to look like? And I did this from my logo, Vintage Threads and Samplers. I know that we all love reproduction samplers, well, a lot of people do. Collect them, reproduce them. And I just thought this would be a fun sign for people that want to add this to their collection with all their antiques. And so this is done on Belfast linen. I followed Lori Holt, and she recommended this idea to fill out your cards on the back of your framed projects. 32 count, that was Rit dye. And I will tell you, I was watching, this is like over a year ago, Mama Loves You GB, Michelle, and she had done a video on Rit dye and linen. So I followed her steps, and I dyed a whole bunch of linen. This was one of them. I love I just love the way it turned out. I don't even know that there's color variation, because you can kind of pick out a little bitty, I don't know, taupe in there, the gray. So anyway, I love this. It's a lot of fun. Your PDF shows just that I did it without the scissors and framed it. Now that's just a frame from a vintage shop. I made that one work. And then this frame is professionally framed up at Lloyd's Custom Framing in Fort Collins. They picked up this frame and I love it. Just love it. It's beautiful. So there's that. And then the next one I did is called Be Still and Know That I Am God. Psalm 46:10, Be Still. And when I did the video for this one, I told you all, I fallen down these stairs and broke my ankle. I was a little frustrated about it, whiny. And I just sitting out on the porch here and watching all the birds on our fence post, I just felt like that's what God said to me. Like, stop trying to be in a hurry, stop trying to rush, you've started this cross-stitch design journey, and it'll be fun, and you'll be okay. Like, yeah, you're right. Okay. So I always listen when God talks to me, and I do what He tells me. So anyway, I love it. Here, let me tell you real quick. See, almost forgot. 32 count white Schultz sandstone, and then Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Art Threads, Roxy, Mill Hill beads for the little black beads on their eyes. And then I found this frame at Home Goods, and it fit perfect. I was so happy with this one. I love it. And that was one of those two were when I first got started. Custom frame and then my own framing. And I'm going to tell you about reframing here in a minute. Then the next one I did, I wanted to do a series of my family, Mi Familia, honoring my Mexican heritage. And so I've done quite a few, and I've bought a lot of antique Mexican samplers, reproductions. Can't wait now to start stitching those. They're in a box. And I wanted to get through this phase of just designing my own and feeling like I was honoring my family. So the first one I did was to honor my mother. And as you can see, it's personalized in the picture. But what I want you to know is that I did do the design. I started out, again, that's my process. I start out with something and then it keeps expanding. So it was Ramona's Alphabet Sampler, that's the name of it. Some roses, some irises. I threw in the upside down alphabet. My mom, if she was alive, would be, what'd you do that for? But it's fun. It was a silly nod to her. She was so big on education for all 7 of us kids, and how do you succeed in life? And that was her mantra to us. She wanted all of us to go be nurses, doctors, teachers, right? So in personalizing it, I added her name, her date of birth, and then it was stitched by me. And then I wanted to add Psalm 23. That was her favorite psalm. Here it is. And I decided to add it in Spanish. And I decided to do stitched by me in 2023 in my name. So again, in your Etsy, in your PDF, you will have it without the personalization. I gave you a copy to see how I personalized it, and then I added the alphabet. So you can play and just do whatever you want to customize it, to personalize it, not customize it, personalize it. And I added the scripture in English. So I hope you have fun. If you do it, let me know, because I would love to see that. And then this framing, oops, let me go back. This framing is from Lloyd's in Fort Collins. I had this beautiful antique print in here that had irises, roses, and a couple other flowers. And they framed it beautifully. So, when I was starting out, I'm all into I can't go spend a lot of money, so let me see what I can do. So I took that print out, reframed it in another antique looking frame. And then this sampler, now there's a little bit more gap here than I want, but I think it's still perfect. It is in its forever frame. And I love the matting. It just fit this sampler. I just love it. It looks beautiful on the wall. Okay, here we go. Let's put it down. Then I went to the Mi Familia. I decided to honor. Sorry, here we go. My grandmothers. So, honoring my mom's mother, my Grandma Jane, I decided to do Jane's Mexican Fiesta. Oh, I had so much fun with this design and my little dancers, my horses, and then these motifs actually came off. I'm going to put this down. That Berlin woolwork, large, huge. I've showed it in my office. It's huge. Berlin woolwork antique sampler. And they had these motifs. Now, I've also seen these motifs in my Brenda Keyes cross-stitch resource book. So those must have been really popular motifs back in the day. And I love the rich colors I chose with those purples. Oh, love it. Okay, now let me tell you a little more about it. In your PDF, you have a copy of Jane's Mexican Fiesta without the personalization, without my name, without her name, and I did include that though, so you could see how you would add. You could add if you were going to use it to honor somebody that's passed their date of birth, and then I wrote "stitched by me" in Spanish. So again, this is in my Etsy shop. And here's the samplers. And it's stitched also on 30 count sandstone. I'm looking at my little card here. With DMC, Weeks Dye Works, Gentle Art Threads, Leon Roxy, same thing. And then Home Goods is where I found this frame. Now, this was not in this is the Forever frame. When I had it in a different frame, it looked okay. I was up at Home Goods and I saw this frame, and I wasn't really even thinking about this sampler. I was just thinking, oh, it's nice and square and it's pretty. I should grab it. And then when I got home and I was just kind of had things together all running around my office, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to switch out. That is perfect. And so I took it up to Michael's, and they, after I stretched it and pinned it, they put the backing on and the hanger and put it together for me. So great job. Then, honoring my dad's mother, my grandmother, Josefa, I did this design, Peppas Floral Dechado. When you walked up to her house, she had this beautiful garden of flowers. Just smell the beautiful flowers walking up into their home. And then on the other side of the house, they had the garden, huge garden. I'll talk about that in my next video because I did a sampler to honor that. So I wanted to honor Peppa with this scripture. I'm going to see if I can flip this. Proverbs 31:10. A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. And that's how I felt about my grandmother. She was just precious. She was amazing. And I loved that devotion and love that my grandfather had for her. And, you know, when you're a child, I don't think they realize they're role modeling all of that for you. And they treated me like I was a queen. I mean, I was so special. And I was spoiled. I really was. And she'd play jump rope with me. I'd get to sleep with her. Of course, she'd tell my grandpa how I kicked all night long and kicked her. So, funny stories. Anyway, in your PDF, you will have the scripture in English. And the way I did it, in Spanish. And, of course, the lettering is from this antique lettering font. So you can take that, personalize it, have fun doing that. I love it. I found some of the motifs in my Max Stitch program, some of them in my Brenda Keys book, and then I would play with the border, flip it, turn it upside down, take it apart, put it back together, just trying to make it different, I guess, and not feeling like I was just copying everything out of a book, but maybe doing something original with it. And then, of course, framing it at Michael's. They did a nice job. Oh, this frame is from Michael's. I forgot to tell you that. This is a reframing. It was in a different gold antique frame in my video where I talk about this. And I was just feeling like it's too gaudy, maybe. So when I took it up to Michael's and we laid it out, this frame is perfect. It allows the sampler to pop. So very happy with that. I'm telling you, Carol got me started on a mission. And then I decided to do some alphabet samplers out of a Spanish primer that I have. And it's all in Spanish. I can't read and write Spanish, even though that's what my grandfather wanted for me. But I took the book. I've showcased it before in my video when I talked about these alphabet samplers. I'm just showing you right now, again, that I did these. And so, Spanish primer, El Abecedario, and I love it. it's just really fun to take that out of that book. It's a Paris book from 1928. It was printed in Paris and in Mexico. Was it 1928? I'm trying to remember. So anyway, I decided to do this alphabet sampler. Just love it, love it, love it. And then another one in the book, in that Spanish primer, was El Alfabeto. And I also did this one. So I have two. They look different, of course. The design's a little bit different, and they're framed different. And so again, I found this frame at Home Goods. I love the gold. I love the way it centers this. Now, again, I had it in a different frame, and I took it to Michael's with this. When I found this new frame and we put a brown mat on it, I just thought it popped better. And this is stitched on 40 count Stars Hollow Linen with Gloriana Coffee Bean Silk thread. So pretty. Just love it. Love it, love it. Each one has its own beauty about it. Okay, and then in keeping with the whole Psalm 23, my mom's favorite psalm. I said, okay, Mom, I'm going to do this psalm for you. I mean, she's not with us any longer. I think she would absolutely love it. So I decided to do it, Salmo de David in Spanish. I stitched it in Spanish. Now, in your PDF, you will have it in English. So if you want to stitch it in English, it's charted in red, but I think we all know we can always substitute out a color that we would rather have it charted in, and this would be an easy one to substitute. I did it with Roxy Floss, Grin and Barrett, which is a deep, deep forest green, and then ochre is that gold. Again, I had this in an antique frame, and it just wasn't perfect. So I took it up to Michael's, had it reframed, and I love the way this came out. Just love it. Love that frame. It's the gold matches, of course, this gold ochre in here, up here, and I feel like gives it some strength to it. Something about this frame is perfect. So it is stitched on 36 count R&R parchment, and I already told you the Roxy Floss, Green and Barrett, not Grin, Green and Barrett, and ochre. So very, very nice. Michael's did a beautiful job framing this for me. Then I had some fun with, let me finish the Mi Familia series. The last one I did in that series last year around Christmas was this one, Feliz Navidad y Año Prospero Nuevo. And again, I had it framed in this petite, beautiful little gold frame, but it wasn't right. I look at this stuff on my sampler wall and I'm like, it's perfect. And then later I'm like, no, it's not perfect. Yes, it's perfect. No, it's not perfect. So, Carol, I shouldn't have listened to Carol. Anyway, I went up to Michael's, we reframed it, and I love this. I feel like, while this is a strong red frame, it matches and it just allows this to pop. So, this is stitched on 36 count Fox and Rabbit, Eureka, and I have West Side Works, Mill Hill Beads, gold filament. I will tell you, I tried the gold filament. In the design, you can see them, they're barely visible, crisscrossing, and it wasn't enough. I felt like I needed to add the beads. So I had a bunch of beads, and I just kind of popped them on there randomly. And then these charms came from a stitching shop up in Denver. That's my local needlework shop. I go up there every now and then, and I can't because I'll want to buy everything in their store. It's beautiful. So they helped me pick out these charms. They kind of wiggle. There you go. And this little star here, I can't get it to wiggle back. Anyway, turned out perfect. I think this is a lot more fun, and when Christmas comes around and I'm decorating, it'll be fun. I also might just put it on my sampler wall with all the other Mi Familia series. Almost done. 2 more to share. In our quest for decorating our home French country. Now, my daughter isn't good French country. However, she found this sign online, Je ne sais quoi. And she ordered it, it came, and it wasn't like amazing. She was disappointed. She paid a lot of money, so she was able to return it. So I said, well, you know I can stitch that for you. Oh, really? So she picked out the font, she picked out the linen, she picked out the floss, and hers is in her home, so I didn't grab it. But here's what it looks like, and I found this frame at Home Goods. Je ne sais quoi. She loves it. It's perfect, exactly what she was looking for. This painting is a painting that Kevin did, and she loves that. I think he had it, and she took it. She did. We all take his paintings. And then I decided, well, I need one for me. I have a French country decorating magazine about that time, and I open it up, and they're showcasing this home, and they have Je ne sais quoi across the border, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding. So I did my sign now. I did mine a little bigger, and I did it with capital letters on each of the words. I found this frame. I really, really like it. It's brown with some red in it. It's old. It's an antique. Now in my whole reframing, and is this the forever frame? I don't think it is. I did go to Michael's with it. We found this chunky black frame that I love, double mats, and it might be overbearing. I'm going to tell myself that. But to do the forever frame for this, it's like $200, and that's with the coupon. I thought, no, if I win the lottery, I'll go reframe this. But for now, it's okay. I love it. It sits with a bunch of other French decorating items in my dressing room, and I love it. It's perfect. So there you go. Je ne sais quoi. Oh, I didn't tell you what this is stitched on. Hold on. This is on 32 count white chocolate Leo and Roxy. For the blue, it was Cousin It. And then for this red, this is Follow Red. I love Follow Red. Okay, one last one. And this is the one I did earlier this year. I did my video, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day card, greeting card, forget-me-not. I like to collect a lot of antique postcards for the different holidays, a stack of them. I put a few of them on my Instagram. And so I sat down to just kind of think about, well, what would that look like, forget-me-not? And this lettering, I have a French cross-stitch book with all kinds of lettering. In my last video, when I talked about this sampler, I held it up and showed you guys. I found it at a thrift shop, and boy, was that a find. Beautiful, beautiful fonts. So I used this font, Forget-Me-Not. I have some beads in here for ornamentation, and then this is stitched on 40 count Seraphim antique linen, and then Roxy Floss and Mill Hill beads. I don't have them with me. I think this is fresh cut, and then these are some of the same Roxy Floss colors I used in the Nurse Poem. So, love that. Again, it was in a different frame that, no, Janelle. Like, I had squeezed it in there. And so, I was happy. I was like, this is good. And then later, after I did the video with this, I'm like, that looks like goofy. What's wrong with you? So, I took it up to Michael's. We found this beautiful frame, and it looks so much better. I'm really happy. So, lots of reframing going forward. I'll probably still try to use some of my vintage frames that I find for some of my projects, but I know better now. I'm like, no, just go to Michael's, or just hold on a minute. Don't frame it just to hurry. But then I thought, well, like Carol said, it's framed, but not in its forever frame. So anyway, thank you, Carol. So I just want to share real quick. I'm going to step this way. This is kind of in the way. These are all piled up here. Here, let me see if I can move these over. Yeah, I wanted you to see that cow there on that bottom table. So just a nod to Kevin. He does a beautiful job painting. He did the two cows. We've got his paintings all over the house. We love him. He does a beautiful job. He stepped away from painting, but he recently said he might get started again. So I found this vintage floral, beautiful floral canvas. So I sent it to him. So usually for our anniversary every year, he paints me a new painting. And he didn't this year. Of course, he was busy with the garden. So I'm giving him grace. But maybe for Christmas, it would be nice to have that. Okay, I'm all done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think I said thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to anybody that's watching this video. I love cross stitch. I love doing this. I love stitching. I stitch a couple hours every night. I must be getting old. I don't know, because now I'm like, last night I'm stitching and all of a sudden I'm like, I had my head down. I had some old movie on, right? So I can stitch and not really pay attention. And I'm like, have you been asleep? Did you fall asleep just sitting here with that needle in your hand? Go to bed. So anyway, I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing than this right now. Like I said, I have 3 designs in the Familia to wrap that up. I have the Mendoza women. It's a band sampler about the strength of the Mexican women in my hometown where I grew up. My mother, my aunts, the women there that just were the strong foundation. And then I have a sampler with my grandparents' homestead in Colorado. I've talked about it before. And I have to laugh because when I first thought I was going to do a floss tube, this was like, I don't even know, 2 years ago. I don't think I was doing a floss designing, even thinking about it. It was more of, what would a sampler look like with Grandma and Grandpa's farm? And so I had a piece of that graph paper where I was writing and doing things. So this idea has been in my head for a very long time. So I'm glad to have it done. The design is done. It's kitted. I have silk threads to do that. And then I have an Adam and Eve that I want to do. And then, like I said, I have some Sunday stitches, designs that are done. Last night I took one of them. I'm playing with it, and I thought, no, it's done. Quit trying to redo it. It's done. So that's what I do, though. And then I realized, yeah, it's done. I could stitch it. So 6 new designs. I'll probably, last video I said I'll see you in a month, and now it's been like, I don't know, 3-4 months. So I'm not going to say see you in a month. I'm going to see you next time, and have a lovely day, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.